thank you to the Bandura Ensemble, directed by Igor Kushnia, for sharing their time and talents with us today. We'll be hearing from them again shortly. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Arkaba Hotel. My name is Samantha Oakley, and it's my pleasure to be your MC today. On behalf of Jenny Hurley and the Hurley Hotel Group, we are honoured to host this special event and to support a project that is making such a profound difference to a small community in Ukraine. To the sponsors, donors and supporters, thank you. Thank you not only for your generosity, but thank you for recognising that even from the other side of the world, we can make a difference. And most importantly, thank you to everyone in this room. Thank you for taking the time to be here today and supporting such a worthy cause. Today is about something many of us rarely have to think about. Having a safe place for children to go to school, to learn, to grow, and to simply be children. Many of you are familiar with Rebuilding Schools Ukraine, but I'd like to share a little about the organisation and about the project we're supporting today. Rebuilding Schools Ukraine was founded by Diane Howard, whose passion for Ukraine and belief in the importance in education inspired her to take action. Diane is supported by an incredible board and leadership team, including patron Jenny Hurley, Chairman Ian Horn, Directors Jock O'Connell, Nick Netchblod, and Irene Pomazak. Together they have created an organisation focused on something simple but powerful, helping children return to school. I caught up with Di earlier in the week. One of my questions was, how do we know where the money goes? The simple answer is, every dollar is carefully planned, reviewed and accounted for. A benefit of having an accountant on the board. The rebuild of the school was broken into 6 stages. For each stage, a local project team prepared a detailed budget covering everything required for the works, right down to the number of paintbrushes. The budget is then reviewed and approved by the board in Australia. A team on the ground oversees the work and monitors the progress before the funding is released from Australia to Ukraine. The works is completed by local people, particularly men, and those who are unable to serve in the military due to their age or disability. To date, Rebuilding Schools Ukraine has contributed $197,000 to rebuilding of Ivanivka School. To complete the project, a further $75,000 is required. That's our goal today. That's what we're working towards. Another question some people naturally ask is why rebuild a school while the war is still going on? The Ivanivka School is located in a small town in southern Ukraine. During the early stages of the war, Russian forces occupied the town and used the school as a military base. When Ukrainian forces reclaimed the area, the school was heavily damaged by the Russian troops as they withdrew. Rebuilding Schools Ukraine works closely with New Dawn, a not-for-profit in Ukraine, who Cosy will talk about later, and Maurice O'Connell, an Adelaide man, who are both on the ground in Ukraine. Together, they carefully assessed potential projects and selected the Ivanivka School because of its location and low likelihood of being retaken or being bombed. Most importantly, the children and the families are still there, and they need their school back. Today we have an action-packed day ahead. I'm not quite sure how we're going to fit it all in, but I'll do my best. We're shortly going to hear from Andrew Costello and Diane Howard about their recent trips to Ukraine. We'll enjoy another performance from the band Bandura Ensemble, followed by the Lemko Band and the Volya Dancers. We have raffle prizes, which I hope you've all bought a ticket for already on your way in. We have silent auction items, which are over here. We have a wine wall. And later this afternoon, Phil Harris will lead us in our live auction. So some important details for the day. The silent auction will close at 2:30 p.m. That will be while the live auction's going on, so keep your eyes on your watch. Live auction begins shortly after dessert, and the raffle winners will be drawn towards the end of the event. And just a reminder that every ticket purchased, every bid placed and every donation made today helps us bring us closer to finishing the project, with our goal being the $75,000. Before I welcome our first speaker, we'd like to begin with a special message sent directly from Kyiv.
Hello, my name is Vasily Martynenko. I'm Ukraine's ambassador to Australia. I'm very sorry that I cannot be with you in Adelaide for this fundraising, special fundraising which I attended last year, which is organized by Diane Howard and a team of volunteers. But today I want to thank you for your contributions, for raising money for the rebuild of schools. I'm standing here in front of Lukyanivka metro station. This is a place where the missile has destroyed this retail center just the other months. This is what we are facing here in Ukraine for the past 4 years. Schools, hospitals, critical infrastructure is being destroyed. Your efforts to rebuild schools are very well received here. Taking this opportunity, I would like to express my gratitude to Jenny Hurley, who's been a relentless donor and supporter of all the work to raise money for the rebuild of schools. Thank you, Jenny. We really appreciate it. And again, sorry I can't be with you, but hello from Kyiv.
Certainly pretty confronting seeing the bomb site behind him. So thank you to the Ukrainian ambassador to Australia for sending us that video. I would now like to welcome Andrew Costello to talk about his recent trip to Ukraine.
Thank you, Sam. Give Sam a round of applause for emceeing here today. I start by saying I got in a little bit of trouble and I left the house just now. We live just around the corner. As I was walking out, my wife said to me, "You're not going to see Peter and Jenny Hurley looking like that, are you? With my jeans? Oh, these are my best jeans. They're like $400. And I said, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, it's like neat cash. I'm going to talk about Ukraine." She goes, "You can't go dressed with a rip in your jeans or whatever." So now we're having a fight about it. So as I leave the house, I shut the front door and she goes, "You look terrible." And I said, "They're war-torn jeans though. It fits with the thing." Guys, pumped to be here to talk about Ukraine. I actually ended up in Ukraine in January. So we ended up about 800 metres from the Russians with ballistic missiles going off around us, which was pretty hairy, something I didn't see my life panning out that way. So I'll tell you a quick story about how that came to be, because it's all tied in with this mob. So I got a charity over in Cambodia called Cows Cambodia. Go over there 5 times a year. And the Thais were invading into Cambodia, and there was thousands of refugees displaced. They were doing it really, really tough. So at the end of my trip in Cambodia, I loaded up that charity truck with rice and supplies, and we went into the war, or they call it the red zone, where the war was happening, where some of the refugee camps was. And we were really scared, but I felt confident because we've got 35 staff in Cambodia, so I've got approval to go into the area, and I felt confident because I knew the country, but I was still scared. So we went in there, and I was a bit apprehensive, and we distributed 1,500 packages to 1,500 families over there. It was amazing. It was like one of the best things I ever did. So we left the war area, and we stopped, we got some beers, and we were having some beers on the way back, and we were just reflecting about how many refugee camps there are all over the world. And I said to my team, that Australians that were with me as well, I said, wouldn't it be wonderful to do things around the world for refugees, just like the guys we've just met? And we started discussing where we would go. Gaza came up, and we're like, oh, probably a bit hairy there or whatever. And then I said, what about Ukraine? Like, I felt sorry for Ukrainians for, well, it's been 4 years now since the Russians have invaded Ukraine. So what about Ukraine? Everyone was like, oh, I don't know, like, how would that be, whatever. So I got back to the hotel, and I shot Jenny Hurley a message, who by chance had asked me to MC one of these functions a month earlier, and I was overseas, couldn't do it. And so I texted her and said, "Hey Jenny, who was that Ukrainian charity you were tied up with, that I was going to do that function for you for?" And then she put me on to these guys, and then like literally a month later, I was standing there, looking at where the Russians were in amongst the devastation, some of which you just saw on the screen. And my goal was simple. I wanted to take 1,000 food packages and just distribute them to the 5 to 6 million Ukrainian refugees that there are. So I put it up on my Facebook page, and the response was just outstanding. We ended up with 4,500 food packages and hygiene packs, which was just amazing. So I just thought I'd show you two really short videos of my trip. One of them is pretty insane. Drones are obviously dominating wars around the world, and certainly in Ukraine. Both Ukraine and Russia are putting drones up all the time. So that was our biggest fear, was getting hit by a kamikaze drone, or being spotted by a drone and then being bombed. So they put these drone nets up around the roads. So there's not just a little bit of it, there's hundreds of kilometres, which this video will show you. This is something that I hope you never see in your life. Why do you think there is netting, like bird netting, above us and to either side? It's actually to stop the drones. So it's a drone net, and these roads are filled with these nets, so that when the drones come down with bombs, they get stopped on the net instead of hitting the vehicles. So it goes for kilometres and kilometres. It's like a tunnel, but it's just one big net. And this is exactly what happens if the drones do hit you. These cars have been hit by drones. The drones explode, cars catch on fire. It doesn't happen just every now and then. It's happening all the time, all over Ukraine, and it's very, very, very sad. These poor people, well, they have to deal with it every day of their lives. Every time they move around, these drones could strike. Those poor Ukrainians, they're the loveliest people ever, yet they've had to live with this for years and years and years. Look at them moving around. These guys are getting their food packages that we're handing out. So amazing in Ukraine, but so incredibly dangerous. Yeah, so that's all over Ukraine, and some of those people you saw then were receiving our packages. So we teamed up with the New Dawn charity, which is building the school, obviously. There's a lady called Julia that runs that, who's astronomically amazing. So anyone in the room is going, oh, I wonder where my charity dollars are going. The way they operate their funding is just absolutely exceptional. Like they just blew me away by how accountable they were and how much they calculated where the donations go and how to best utilise their donations. I think we at Kherson Cambodia do it well. They do it 10 times better, so you don't have to worry about that at all. On the drones, they reckon travel about 110, 120 k's an hour. So when we travelled in the really dangerous parts of Ukraine, they always went faster than that. So we were travelling in a van in amongst the snow on icy roads, and that was part of the most scariest part of our trip, was they wanted to go faster than the approaching drones so that they could actually outdrive them. So I just thought I'd show a little video of us doing that. Can you imagine driving in a van at 180 kilometres an hour? Well, that was us a couple of days ago in Ukraine. Pretty insane. So basically we were leaving the war front where the Russians and the Ukrainians are. That's where the fighting is. They're on the other side of the river. Each and I was shit scared. Tomo, less worried. Why go so fast? Well, because most of the Russian drones can travel at 110 k's an hour. So the Ukrainians believe the faster they drive, the less chance of getting hit by a drone. The drones strike vehicles. Now that's our van. So this is the car we're in. We're in a big van. It was insane. Yeah, the other one that's interesting, sorry, I forgot that had swearing in it, otherwise I would have played that one. The other thing that was interesting in Ukraine, two things. Number one, packs and packs of dogs, because in the areas close to where the war was, obviously everyone's fled. There was just packs of dogs, which really surprised me. People that had just left their pets and dogs had come together roaming in packs. The other thing about the Ukrainians, which I'll finish on because I don't want to take up too much of your time today, is that when I did that refugee drop in Cambodia, the Cambodians had a real hatred for the Thais. They had a real hatred for the fact that the Thais were invading Cambodia, and they were very vocal about it. You talk to any Cambodian adult or child, they would express their dislike about the Thai people, which was understandable at the time. So when I went to Ukraine, I expected the same. The Ukrainians have had this for 4 years. In the thousands of Ukrainian people that I met, in the thousands of people we handed over aid to, never once did one Ukrainian say anything nasty or bad about the Russians, which just blew me away. I just expected there to be a real hatred. And I think that says a lot about the Ukrainian people. They said a lot, like that they were sad, they cried, that they couldn't believe that a Westerner was there. They couldn't believe, they feel forgotten about, and they couldn't believe that we cared enough to be there. That really blew them away as much as handing them the donation. But never said anything like about hating the Russians. And this is something that also blew me away. That day in particular, where we were really close to the Russians, between 1 kilometre and 5 kilometres, so you could hear the ballistic missiles. The closest one was about 2 to 3 k's away from us where it landed, and it's a real like a loud bellowing boom, and we'd heard anti-aircraft, anti-drone fire and all that stuff, air raid sirens and that in the lead up. But then once you start hearing that, you start getting pretty concerned. But just amazing, amazing people. So anything you donate today, guys, goes into helping those people, which I just think is outstanding, and it's wonderful to represent your country at something like that. So thank you so much for coming to the Arkaba today. To Jenny and the team for putting it all on. I just hope you have the best day ever, guys, and thanks so much for caring about a country that's in a world of strife. You know, we've won the lottery of life being born in Australia. You know, we all forget it. We whinge and whine about the most insane stuff. At the end of the day, where else would you rather be born? You know, we're just so lucky. So to be able to hand over some of that luck today is super. I'll chuck you back to Sam, but have a great day. See you guys.
Thank you, Cozzy. That was quite incredible. And thank you, Cozzy, for representing Adelaide and South Australians on the global stage. So next up, we're about to be served desserts. Entrees. Sorry. Not quite yet. We'll soon have entrees, and then we'll be welcoming the Bandura ensemble back to listen to while we're enjoying our entrees.
going live broadcast globally. And we'll set up right here. Far out.
I've got some great news on the fundraising side of things. The wine wall is sold out. So thank you to everyone for that. And probably on that point that the wine wall wasn't initially planned. We were just overwhelmed with donations from our very generous wine donors and had probably too much wine. So Brad Harper, our hotel manager here last night, ran to the shops and got enough bags so that we could do the wine wall. So thank you to our wine suppliers and Brad. We also ran out of raffle tickets, but that problem is now solved with, I think Brad also ran to the shops and bought some new raffle tickets, and the ladies at the front door have more raffle tickets, so make sure you grab some of them as well. Our next guest is the person who started it all. What began as a woman wanting to help has grown into a remarkable South Australian project, restoring education, opportunity, and hope for Ukrainian children. Please join me in welcoming the founder of Rebuilding Schools Ukraine, Diane Hayworth. Before we chat with Diane, we'll just show you a short video about her recent trip to Ukraine.
Австралія та Україна разом в наших серцях. Дуже дякую.
Паде одна зоря, дві зійдуть над нами, як з вас невтома на плечах, підемо стежками. І коли в останню мить запитає ніч сама, ми відповімо їй одне, є в нас воля жива.
А ваша англійська просто топ, вона каже. Молодці.
Wow. So it's confronting and uplifting all in one video. And a thank you to Natalie who put together that video, who's a Ukrainian refugee based in Adelaide now. Diane, you've had a deep connection with Ukraine for many years. Was there a particular moment when you realised you wanted to do more than simply watch events unfold from Australia?
I guess for me, as being an educator for 45 years, spending all my life working with children and young adults, it was heart-wrenching to see footage like this one come out of Ukraine, of bombed schools, bombed buses, no opportunities for children. And I saw this sort of thing and thought, how can we help? Having been there recently, I know that this particular region that we went into, the region of Kherson Oblast, 109 schools in that region, 169 schools in that region have been destroyed. Only 9 of them are up and running now, including the one that we're doing and organising. So that's part of the reason that I started this particular fundraising.
We've just watched some pretty powerful footage there from your trip when you recently visited Ivanivka school. What was the moment during your trip that will stay with you forever?
Okay, it's hard to define one moment. The whole day, the whole trip to Ivanivka in Kherson Oblast was just beyond sometimes even the words that I can pull together, and I can pull a lot of words together, believe me. But the moment of the children when we got there doing this presentation for us and welcoming us there, they'd learnt little phrases in English to say to us. They had little angels to give to us and blue and yellow ribbons like this to give to us. Was just amazing, their gratitude. Our trip into Ivanivka was also amazing. We were going in on the Monday. It had already been pre-planned. We sent over our passport details and we had teed up to go in. We didn't fly in as fast as Cozzy at 180, but because we were in the north of the region rather than the south of the region. But we did. I was sitting in the front and I did watch Oleg driving us in, and he was doing 130 to 135 the whole way on potholed roads. And I did look over and see him do 152 at one stage, but that's just how they drive. You accept that. And we got there. I looked out the side of the windows and there were these little wooden pegs in the side of the road with flags on them. And I asked Oleg, our driver, what are they for? He said, oh, they're mines. They've been found, don't go touching them. So, okay, we'll stay in the car. And a few k's up the road, we got pulled up and asked to stop. There was a Norwegian demining group there, demining some mines in the area. And they asked us if we could just wait because they found a couple on the road ahead and they were going to blow those up before we could go through. We thought, sounds good. So we let that happen. You know, at no stage did I particularly feel unsafe because I felt quite, for me, it was about these people are doing this every day. And I felt that the people who were taking us in had done all the homework and the prep to help us and to help them. So we kept driving on. It was 4.5 hours to into Ivanivka. And the story before that is even more interesting. The day before, as you saw in some of that footage, we were actually being treated to the opera in Odessa. We were going to see Madame Butterfly, hence the nice dress that I had on there. But we were told on the way we have to go and we have to do military training before we can go into the military zone. So we went in to try on our jackets and learn how to do our helmets and tourniquets before we could go. So we were told we would be picked up at 5:30 in the morning, on the Monday morning. So we headed to bed about 11 and then it started, 1:30, the sirens go. We're up on the 3rd floor of the hotel, the sirens are going, the sounds of the missiles going over, the sounds of the missiles being blown up, the red lights flashing, the white lights flashing in the room was just unbelievable. Time my phone started was Julia from New Dawn and Morris saying, get down to the bomb shelters. So we went down to the bomb shelters, we spent the next couple of hours there. It was now about 3:30, go back up to our rooms, it's all over. Go back to our room, we're being picked up at 5:30, there's no way we could get to sleep. So that whole day in Ivanivka, we were tired, it was emotional, it was unbelievable, but it was so worthwhile. The children were appreciative, the teachers were appreciative, it was an amazing experience to be able to see what we were doing and the benefits of that. I don't know if you noticed, but the t-shirt I have on there has got the Ukrainian trizub, the Ukrainian coat of arms on the front of it, but it's got embedded into it the kangaroo and the emu from the Australian coat of arms as well. So it's a combined thing, which is just wonderful. So for me, the whole experience of going in there, the gratitude of the people, and not just the children, but the whole community. The headmistress of the school, she almost couldn't let me go. She was just so embracing and so warm and welcoming that people from the other side of the world cared so much about them.
What surprised you most about the resilience and the determination of the local community?
Okay, the resilience of the people is something that, like I said, when we went to the opera that day on the Sunday, and then the next morning we were getting up and at 5:30 being picked up to taken into Kherson Oblast, then we're driving through Odessa, Oleg's taking us through and says, oh, can't go that way, that road's closed. That road was closed because first responders were out clearing up the mess, putting every fires were out and all the rest of it from those bombs that had happened the night before. So they just get up in the morning, they clean it up, and then they just go about their business. Coffee, breakfast, lunch, off to work, whatever. It's that sort of level of resilience that is amazing in the cities. Then when we went out to the country area to see the work that had been done, this is our school in Ivanivka. At first, the roof was our biggest problem, so we repaired the roof. And I've got a slide here showing the before and after of the roof repairs. That was our biggest job. Once we got the roof done, then we could work on the inside. And the inside was repairing walls, floors, plumbing, electricity, because the Russians weren't very nice people. They'd come in, they'd smashed all the windows, they'd put holes in all the walls, they ripped up the floorboards for no reason other than they could. And they actually used this particular school as their headquarters, including a torture chamber in the basement. So it was really important for that village to have their school back, to have their community back. And it's not just about saving the school, it's about saving the whole village, the whole community. Because this school, once we get it up and running properly, there's 50 kids there now, but once it's up and running properly, we'll be able to bus kids in from other community villages as well. That's our goal. The resilience is amazing. And these photos are just showing you the before, the during and the after of the floor repairs and the wall repairs that we've done already with the funds we've sent over.
When the local people learned that the support's come all the way from Adelaide, what was their reaction?
Unbelievable, actually. For the Ukrainians to think that people from the other side of the world care about them so much in a small community village. You can see here the kids, how these are our children, the children in our school. They had put on their best outfits, their best vyshyvanka, their Sunday best for the day. They came out and did a presentation for us. They did a song, they did a dance, they recited stuff, they rehearsed stuff. They were so well prepared to thank us for everything that we did. They were amazing. The workers were there. We met a couple of the workers, 2 of the workers with disabilities who are not fit for military service were there. And they're so grateful to have the opportunity, to have a job, to have a little bit of income. Those 2 workers don't actually live in that village. They live in a different village, and when we have the job going for them, they'll come in for a couple of weeks and they'll just sleep on camp stretchers in the schoolroom while they're doing their painting or their drilling or whatever they're doing. So to provide them with hope, and for them, the hope that the world across the other side, people in Australia actually care for them, is the most generous thing that we can give them as well.
Wow, thank you very much, Diane. Your passion, commitment, belief. Your passion, commitment and belief in the power of education is truly inspiring, though that photo just sends like shivers down my spine. We're all incredibly grateful for everything you and the Rebuilding Schools Ukraine team are doing, so thank you. The main courses will be coming out shortly. We're still not quite up to dessert. We're delighted to bring you some Ukrainian culture to the room. Please welcome the Lemko Band and the Volya Dancers, directed by Michelle Gorgula. Enjoy your lunch and the performance. Thank you to the Lemco Band. Before I introduce the Volya dancers, I'd just like to give you a little bit of a background on the Lemco Band, who have just performed beautifully for us. They're a newly formed folk music group dedicated to celebrating the rich musical traditions of Eastern Europe. The band performs well-known folk songs with a modern touch inspired by those traditions. They bring together talented musicians, as we've seen, from different generations, ranging from an 18-year-old to a 64-year-old. You can get... No, we won't guess. From diverse culture, including Ukrainians, Slovakians, Hungarians and Italians. The diversity enriches the band's distinctive sound while honouring the shared cultural legacy of the Carpathian region. The Lemco Band breathes a new life into timeless songs, presenting them with fresh arrangements while preserving their spirit and emotional depth. Through its music, the band introduces this remarkable cultural heritage to a new generation of listeners, and we were lucky enough to hear them today, so thank you. And I think get your phones out. The next set is going to be quite incredible. I'd like to welcome the Volya dancers. fundraising reminder. If you haven't got your raffle ticket yet, now's a great opportunity. Although looking at the bowl, I think maybe everyone has got a raffle ticket already. Please take a moment to check out the silent auction items, because that will be closing shortly when the live auction begins. I think that's all for the moment. We're going to have a short break and then the Lenco band will get up again, and then we'll be going into the live auction. Thank you. much to the band and to the dancers. They've all donated their time and taken time off work to perform for us today, so a huge thank you.